This is a video about SQLite in MAUI, how to use it, how to get it working with code first, EntityframeworkCore first. Alright, so this is quick and dirty. I didn't want to redo everything, so I'm just gonna scroll through all the things I wrote. So first of all, you have a default MAUI project. This one is version 8. And I have just a class library over here that contains everything that I need for data. So what you need to do is to have some NuGet packages installed over here. And the installed NuGet packages that you need are the Entity Framework Core SQL and the Entity Framework Core tools in this part. And as usually, I'll also have something like the normal Entity Framework Core. So I'll just scroll through all the packages, but if you download the first two, it will install all the rest. Just pause the video if you want to read anything that I have over here. Okay. So having that installed, then you will also need to install one package over here. And this main project, the MAUI project. And that's actually the designer, Entity Core Designer. So knowing that, you can give it a start. So here's the community toolkit MVM. Alright, so first file that you make in a data folder in the, I call it the database library, is a context file that has to inherit from DB context. Then I'll remove this. You have an empty constructor, and then you will have two, well, I've got two, but you can have plenty or more files that you use over here to create your database. So first of all, the files are just POCOs, so it's just simple code in here, just the ID and the name, and then a collection of persons for this group. So there's a group, and the group has persons, so there's a relation. However, that relation will be set somewhere else as well. So these two files, they come back in the database context as a DB set, two DB sets. Then I have to make the database, well, it has to have a name. So I have this piece of code. I like to have the debug and the release separate. So whenever I'm in debug mode, the database name will be this. And when I'm in release, this will be the database name. Well, choose any name you like. Then we have another override on model creating. When you create it here, you can describe it, the relations between the various tables and fields. So in this case, I have an entity group, and it has many persons. And the persons all have one group. This is a many-to-one relation. And then, of course, you need a foreign key for that group is being made. And then, if I delete a group, everything, all the persons in that group will be deleted. That's what this piece of code says. Great. So having that, then we have to use it somewhere, of course. So I made a service, and this service needs to be injected. So we inject it in the service. So we're going to talk about dependency injection in the second part, or later in this video, after this. So what I did, in this service, I just have the database context in there, and then I have one method over here to get all the groups. And just because I wanted to make a shortcut for things, I just say, okay, well, I could have an empty list back, returned back. So this will just have a list back, and that's what we return over here. And this piece of code is just for testing. So we have some output, so, but I don't have to write a whole interface and all shit that comes with that. That's completely different videos. I'll probably have I'm sure I have something with XAML and data binding and how to get this done in detail. All right, so that's the group service, just returning all the group data. However, the database, of course, is not constructed yet. So what you do with code first, you want to have these migrations. And this migration file, that will give you a problem. So whenever you try to migrate, make a migration, so let's do something like this. Let's say that the person also needs some other data, last name. A last name, right? So now the database should be changed. So whenever I do that, I go to the package manager console and I add a migration. But that will have a, oh, that's of course a minus over here. That migration, I don't know, last name. My last name migration is called last name. So when I press enter, it will pop up with some error, because Android doesn't have this migration options. Well, I don't know how exactly it is, but when you do that, Entity Framework cannot construct the migration because Android is missing something. There's nothing prepared for Android. So you have to eliminate that after you get an error, of course. So you can follow the arrows, and then you have to do some searching, and then, well, I stumbled over some other guy that already figured it out. So I stole his piece of code or solution. So let's wait until this crashes. I'm making a double mistake, I see, because I'm in the wrong project. So let's try this again. Let's do this in the right project, of course. Another last name. And it returns an error and says, okay, go here and read up some stuff. Well, the solution actually is quite simple. You only have to go to the project over here, and you simply comment this out. Yes, it's that simple. So now you only need to find where you left. My bar is a bit. Oh, here it is. Comment it out. And then there's another line of code over here. Well, that you have to actually type in. And I'll make a little space for this. It is about this code line. That needs to be typed in. So take a good look at it. Windows App SDK Deployment Manager Initialize. Set it to false. And then close it, of course. And when you do that, then suddenly, I've saved this, then suddenly the migration can be built. So here, the add migration last name, build started. Make sure you are in the right project, of course, the DB project, set it over here. And then this will make a second migration. And the only thing that you need to know now, and we can just simply close this. And we can actually comment this out again. And of course, uncommented this. And now we have a migration. So this works already with the initial migration that you have to do. So let's close this and save. So, but you're not done yet, because now I have a migration. Now the migration has to be executed. So this happens in here. First of all, you have to tell in the MAUI program, because we're working with dependency injection, you have to tell it that it has a service, this service. And then, of course, you want to have the group service also. In my case, I did my main page in here. Well, I have a test view and a test view models in here. And I'll show all these. So that's all what's changed over here. So this is just a view model for this test view. Nothing fancy. No other code changed over here. But I did some changes somewhere else. I have an app XAML. I made a seed database method that I can plug in under the initial component. And if I want to do that seeding, that means that I simply have a little data in there. It simply needs to get the database context over here, and then tell it that it has to migrate. And then if there is no data in the database, then simply, in this case, I'm just checking the groups. If there are no groups in there, then just create one group, create another group, include the persons in there, and then said, hey, context groups at range, group 1 and group 2, and then save all the changes. So doing all of that, that will seed your database. And if I start my application now, I'm starting it in Windows, it should simply add the extra fields to my database. Yeah, you cannot see that, of course, but that is. But if it was crashes, then trust me on my word. If I had no data, it would be slightly easier, because then I could show the seeded database, seeded data. So this is the application. The fact that it is seeded, I can show that as well. Let me place this out of me. So this is nice and clean. And if I press data, it will push the data over here. So this is the names, no last names. I didn't tell them to do last names. I didn't seed data last names. So all the CRUD operations, that is something that you have to figure out yourself. But it works mainly as I did with the service over. You get a group service. But this is how you get it to work. So if you want to see this more in detail, then look to another video. It is quite similar. It's for WinUI 3.0. It's also on my my YouTube site, Visualcoach. So hey, have fun with this, and thanks for watching. Feel free to do a thumbs up or a like or a subscribe. Usually I only post videos that I like to do for myself, but maybe this helps you. You never know.